Hey there, future achievers! Are you tired of struggling with studies and feeling overwhelmed? Do those giant textbooks fill you with existential dread? Well, you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to unlock the secrets of effective learning and equip you with 10 powerful study hacks that will transform you into a learning machine. Let's get started. Our first study hack is a real brain booster: active recall. Instead of passively reading your notes or textbook, active recall forces your brain to actively retrieve information. It's like doing a workout for your memory, and the more you exercise those retrieval muscles, the stronger they become. So, how do you implement active recall? Flashcards are your new best friend. Write a question or term on one side and the answer on the other. Test yourself regularly and watch as your memory improves dramatically. Another powerful active recall technique is using practice tests. By simulating exam conditions, you're training your brain to retrieve information under pressure. Have you ever crammed for an exam, feeling like you've mastered the material, only to forget everything the next day? It's the dreaded forgetting curve at work. But fear not, because spaced repetition is here to save the day. Instead of cramming all your study sessions into one intense burst, spaced repetition involves reviewing material at increasing intervals. Start by reviewing new information shortly after learning it, maybe within a day or two. Then, gradually increase the intervals between reviews: 3 days, a week, 2 weeks, and so on. This spaced-out approach helps solidify the information in your long-term memory. There are even apps designed specifically for spaced repetition, like Anki or Quizlet. Studying the same subject for hours can be incredibly dull, right? But guess what? Interleaving is here to energize your study sessions. This powerful technique involves mixing up different subjects or topics during your study time. Instead of focusing only on vocabulary one day and grammar the next, try interleaving them. Spend some time on vocabulary, then switch to grammar, and then back to vocabulary. When you switch between different subjects, your brain shifts gears and taps into different parts of your knowledge. This constant switching boosts your cognitive flexibility and enhances your ability to recall information in various contexts. Plus, interleaving helps you discover connections between different topics. So, break free from the monotonous routine and harness the power of interleaving to supercharge your studies. Our brains are incredible at making connections. Elaborative encoding harnesses this innate ability to enhance our learning. Think of your brain as a vast network of interconnected ideas. When you learn something new, it's like adding a new node to this network. The more connections you make between this new node and existing nodes, the stronger it becomes embedded in your memory. So, how do you practice elaborative encoding? It's all about making meaningful connections between new information and what you already know. Ask yourself questions like, how does this relate to what I learned in previous chapters? Can I think of real-life examples that illustrate this concept? The more you elaborate on new information, the more memorable it becomes. Have you ever tried to memorize a long, complicated phone number all at once? It's a recipe for disaster. Our short-term memory has limited capacity, and trying to cram too much information in at once is like trying to stuff a week's worth of groceries into a tiny shopping bag. That's where chunking comes in handy. This technique involves breaking down large amounts of information into smaller, more manageable chunks. Instead of trying to memorize a long list of dates or vocabulary words all at once, group them into smaller chunks. For example, if you're trying to remember a historical timeline, group events into decades or significant periods. Chunking makes information easier to process and remember because it reduces the cognitive load on your short-term memory. It's like giving your brain a set of mental shelves to organize information neatly. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and when it comes to memory, that couldn't be truer. Visualization is a powerful technique that involves creating mental images to represent information. Our brains are wired to process visual information more easily than abstract concepts. When you visualize something, you're essentially creating a mental movie that engages your senses and makes the information more memorable. Let's say you're trying to memorize the different parts of a cell. Instead of just reading about them, try visualizing each part with its unique shape, color, and function. The more vivid and detailed your visualizations, the better. Engage all your senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and even taste if you can. Have you ever noticed that teaching someone else something you've learned is one of the best ways to solidify your own understanding? That's because teaching forces you to organize your thoughts, identify gaps in your knowledge, and explain concepts in a clear and concise way. When you teach something to someone else, you're not just regurgitating information, you're actively engaging with it and making sure you truly understand it. Find a study buddy, a family member, or even a willing pet, and try explaining a concept to them. As you teach, pay attention to their questions and try to answer them thoroughly. Even if you don't have a willing audience, you can still practice teaching by talking to yourself or recording yourself explaining concepts aloud. The key is to articulate your thoughts and put your knowledge to the test. Procrastination, the arch nemesis of every student. But fear not, the Pomodoro technique is here to rescue you from the clutches of procrastination. This time management method is like a superpower against distraction. Here's how it works. Set a timer for 25 minutes of focused work, followed by a 5-minute short break. Repeat this cycle 4 times and then take a longer break of 20 to 30 minutes. During those 25-minute work sprints, eliminate all distractions. Put your phone on silent, close unnecessary tabs on your computer, and find a quiet study space. Focus solely on the task at hand. The short breaks are crucial for recharging your mental batteries. Get up, stretch, move around, or grab a quick snack. The Pomodoro technique is effective because it breaks down study sessions into manageable chunks, making the task seem less daunting. Some people are visual learners, while others prefer auditory or kinesthetic learning styles. Mind mapping is a versatile study technique that caters to visual learners and helps organize information in a way that's easy to understand and remember. Imagine a giant spider web of interconnected ideas, with the central topic at the center and branches radiating outwards, connecting related concepts. Start by writing the main topic in the center of a blank page. Then, draw branches outwards, connecting related subtopics, keywords, or images. Use different colors, shapes, and sizes to differentiate between ideas and make your mind map visually appealing. Mind mapping is particularly helpful for brainstorming, organizing essays, or understanding complex relationships between different concepts. By physically drawing connections between ideas, you're engaging your brain and strengthening your understanding of the material. We've all been guilty of pulling all-nighters before exams, but here's the hard truth. Sleep deprivation is your brain's worst enemy. When you're sleep deprived, your cognitive function takes a nosedive. Think of sleep as your brain's way of recharging and consolidating memories. During sleep, your brain works tirelessly, processing the day's information, strengthening connections between neurons, and transferring memories from short-term to long-term storage. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night, especially during exam periods. Establish a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, to regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. Remember, prioritizing sleep is not lazy. It's essential for optimal brain function and academic success. So there you have it. 10 strategies to become a learning machine. Remember, consistency is key. Now go out there and conquer your exams. Like, share, and subscribe for more study tips and motivation. And don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know which strategy you'll be trying out first.